a few days later, and I go into the MRI room, I get the results back, and the first thing the doctor says is that you have a brain tumor. And the first words anyone ever said after that was, I said, do I have cancer? And then my dad immediately jumped in and said, no, you don't have cancer. Like trying to serve me, not protect me and stuff like that. And then I asked the doctor again, do I have cancer? And he said, well, we'll have to wait and see. We have to do a biopsy, but right now we have to do an immediate surgery to put a shunt that's going to run from your brain to your abdomen inside of you. That will have to stop the blockage of your optic nerve, which connects the brain to the eye. If that's not stopped, then you will go blind. And we need to do that right now. So I was rushing to surgery, and I was rushing to surgery. This was on my 19th birthday. So I got this whole thing. I'm like, well, happy birthday to me. And I was rushing to surgery. Thankfully, it was successful. And I remember that very night, my mom and my dad were in my same hospital room. They were sitting together holding hands. My dad came over to me and held my hand throughout the night. It was just a silent bond between us that everything was going to be okay. And my mom was crying. And Mother's Day was actually the same day. And she said the best gift on Mother's Day was that I was alive and I could see. And it was just a trying time for our family where we really pulled together. And then 3 weeks later, it was about a 5-week recovery from that surgery. 3 weeks later, I actually had to start a job that I committed to months ago. And I said, you know what? Cancer is not going to stop me from carrying on with my life. I'm going to react to this really well. It happened to me. I'm just going to keep doing it. I had an improv acting internship where I was in Atlanta, and I acted for like 5 weeks. I got up at 7 in the morning, had to go every day, and it was tiring. But at the same time, I was not going to think about it. I wasn't going to let it affect my life. So I did it for 5 weeks. And we did a performance in Atlanta. I didn't tell anyone about this thing because I didn't want to think about it. And then about 4 weeks after the first surgery, I hear my mom outside of my bedroom saying to our family doctor that, you know, Jackson is crushed by this news. Like he's going to be crushed by this. He didn't think he was going to have to go back on the table, and he just thought he was going to have to do radiation. And so that moment, she couldn't see me, but I was kneeling down, and it felt like the weight of the world was on me. And in my mind, it was just so hard for me to think about going back because I just hadn't thought about it. And she calmed me down and everything like that. And thankfully she calmed me down. And a couple weeks later, we had to go to North Carolina, to Duke, a university hospital, to have a second brain surgery where they would open my skull and go in and get the tumor out. And this was a very dangerous surgery. I was doing fine with dealing with it until the surgery, but a day before the surgery, the doctors had to legally tell me everything that could go wrong. It went from like shortness of breath to like shortness of breath, like nausea, those kind of things, all the way up to like brain damage, or you're gonna wake up during the surgery. And this was an 8-hour surgery, or you'll die, or you might die. So I had to like sign a makeshift will to protect what was happening if I died. The night before, I remember in the bathroom at the hotel in Duke, crying with my mom. And it was the first time that I was really thought about it in a serious way, because the way I dealt with it, I just didn't think about it, and I was crying with my mom the whole time. But it was a moment where we, at the end of it, we knew that as long as we had each other, as long as we stayed positive, we were going to be okay. We went into surgery the next morning, and it was about like a 6 or 8 hour surgery, and thankfully it was successful. And they removed virtually all of the tumor. And after 5 weeks of radiation, and I had to have about 5 weeks of radiation treatment. And my last week of radiation treatment was my first week of classes at UGA. So at Duke, the doctors were telling me, we're not sure if you can go back to college this semester. And I was determined. I was like, how can we make this happen? I'm not going to let this affect my life in a negative way. And I was just so determined to get better. And they said, let's make it happen. So they really got a plan for me to come back. My last week of radiation was commuting back and forth to my first week of classes at UGA. And I was able to go to those classes in the afternoon after commuting to Emory in the morning. And I finished those classes. My dad got up at 6 in the morning every day. It was 5 in the morning every day to drive me, pick me up from Athens to go to Atlanta because I didn't have a car at the time. And we finished that radiation therapy. And on October 27th of 2010, we got our first MRI back. And it was completely clean. And the theme of what I'm trying to say is that sometimes, this kind of stuff happens to you. But as long as you stay positive, you stay willing, you're around your friends and family that really do care about you, you'll find your way, and you'll be okay. And I felt that it just felt like a beacon of hope. And I came back the next year, and I was able to raise, give really for life. Been in 3 years, and it's been the greatest 3 years of my life, honestly. So I want to thank everyone really for life, honestly, and thank everyone that's always supported me, and thank you all.